Good morning, good day, and good evening, everyone. Welcome back to the Daedric Podcast. I am your host, Lyriander, and with me is, again, Tom.
Guys, how's it going?
We had some technical issues here and there earlier today, so that's why we couldn't do it at a normal time, but now we are ready to start, aren't we, Tom?
Yeah, we're finally home from the
Perilous journeys we went through.
perilous journeys. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one.
All right, let's set things up properly again. Here we go. And let's get the things running as well. There we go.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So, as you can see, today we're going to talk a lot about soul gems, the Soul Cairn, the Ideal Masters, Battlespire, Mundus and the universe, and finally the gods themselves. And I wanted to show because Tom is about to go onto a quest related to a specific altar. I wanted to show the same altar in the Soul Cairn. So if you look at my playthrough, you will actually see me basically speedrun the Dawn Guard DLC. If you're interested.
Yeah. You went through that thing in like a half an hour,
Yeah,
right?
I got to the Soul Cairn in exactly 1 hour. So that's pretty fast. Like technically, I didn't finish the whole thing, but
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, your playthrough suddenly seemed really fast, but it's just you moving very fast.
Yeah.
All right. So today, let's start off with the first topic: the soul gems, which are the things that we use to trap the souls in of our enemies. But let's start with a more fundamental question. What are the souls, Tom?
Yeah. So the souls in the Elder Scrolls universe, they function like similar how you would think souls function. Every living thing in Nirn has a soul, and not only on Nirn, also in Oblivion. All the Daedra have a form of souls called the Vestige or the Essence, but that's a different kind of a different thing. Anyway, there are lesser creatures and higher creatures. You could think of it like a pig or a rabbit. They are lesser creatures, and they have something what's called white soul. And higher creatures like men or mer, like the elves, or the beast folk like Argonians, Khajiit, Sloth. Basically, if you have higher brain functions, you qualify as something that has a black soul. Black in the sense that the soul is of a higher power. It's on a whole different level. And it can only be contained in a very special type of soul gem.
Yes.
And that is the black soul gem.
Yes.
Which is the main thing we'll be trying to make in a second.
In Oblivion. Yes. Let me get to like soul gems again. Soul gems are, of course, the magical stones in which these souls can get stored after using a soul trap spell and then killing the person. Normally, when you kill a mortal which has a soul, their soul basically leaves their body and goes to whatever kind of heaven they are part of. They're supposed to go.
What kind? Yeah, depends on what kind of Aedra or Daedra they were worshipping.
Yeah, exactly.
In their life.
And what was it going? So yeah, but using a soul trap spell basically forces that soul to not escape the body, but instead go into the soul gem that you have, because these souls can also be used as a source of energy.
Yeah, you can think of it as AA batteries,
basically. And it's actually fun. Like most common use you're gonna find is either for enchantments, to either make an enchantment or refuel an enchantment. But a lot of the Dwemer animunculi, that's the hard word. Animunculi,
Isn't it animatronic?
They have multiple names. It depends on how you use it in the sentence, I think.
Animanculi, like
Yeah.
homunculi. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. They are actually like a lot of them, not all of them, but a lot of them are powered by soul gems as well. That's why whenever you destroy one of them in Skyrim, they actually almost always have some kind of soul gem in them.
And they are nicely visible on the lesser animatronics, like dwarven spiders.
Oh yeah.
You can actually see the soul gem on top of it, and to be fair, it is usually not usually. It is always a lesser soul gem,
Yeah, or
meaning
petty.
yeah, or petty. So it wasn't a human soul powering that, but something not, I don't want to say miserable, but
Yeah.
something like a rat or
Yeah, like a small thing, which
yeah.
brings us nice into the categorization of these white souls, because the Mages Guild standardized these different sizes for like the different kinds of soul gems.
Really?
Yeah, like, they made a standardized size because like and they got the names for them. Like, so basically these soul gems, how they are harvested, we'll get to in a bit. But basically, if it's a physically small soul gem, it will actually only be able to contain a small soul, and the bigger you get, the bigger the soul is you can contain within it. And I say like bigger, but like if you look at how big the Grand Soul Gem is in Skyrim, that's about as big as they get. So that's like 2 hands full of like one big chunk of Soul Gem, basically. So they're not like it's not that big. I mean, technically, the biggest soul you can find is the Divine Soul, which doesn't occur in Oblivion and in Skyrim anymore. But in Morrowind, you had access to Divine Souls, which you could technically get from killing the
right?
3 gods, basically.
Yeah, Tribunal, the 3 living gods. Yeah.
Yes.
But
But so yeah, so the sizes.
Yeah, it is important to say that they are not divines by
No.
definition. If you were to actually, if it is even possible to capture a real god's soul, that would be something.
We'll actually get back into gods later, as you can see, but like the sizes of these soul gems are basically split up into minor, petty, lesser, common, greater, grand, and divine. And then finally you have the black souls, which you just explained. So in order to trap these black souls, you can't use a standard soul gem. Let's see. It just it works differently, I think. Like like because these black souls are so intelligent, and basically they have a strong will. They cannot be captured in a simple soul gem. Like their willpower is just too strong for that. They can then escape basically from your clutches and then go wherever they want to go.
This perfectly ties to one book that is called On Necromancy. And this book actually explains that if you are a necromancer, it is wise to not reanimate freshly departed corpses. It is safer to reanimate like a skeleton, something that has been dead for a long time. Because when you try to reanimate something that has is relatively fresh, the soul of the original user still clings to the body, and it's gonna fight you over the body when you try to take control over it. And it may break free and fuck your shit up.
Yeah.
Because imagine you're a spirit, you're ready to go to heaven, to your heaven, to the hunting, either way to
whatever your heaven is, yeah.
So, yeah, to Sovngarde or the hunting grounds or whatever, and suddenly, like, you're back into in your body, and you can feel somebody manipulating you, somebody moving with your body. You feel like a passenger, and yeah, you're not gonna be happy. So don't try don't resurrect freshly dead bodies.
Which is funny because you usually do that in
Exactly.
in Skyrim.
Yeah, in Skyrim, yeah. That's why
so-
different bodies have difficulties.
Yeah.
Like to reanimate, because when you try to resurrect something with a strong mind, with a strong sense of will, it's gonna fight back.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry, I got a bit distracted of the playthrough. Yeah, so the fun thing is, with these black soul gems is that black soul gems, according to the book Souls Black and White, if the gem is not precisely the size of the encased soul, small bits of the caster soul will instead go into the gem, into the black soul gem, and that's why it's usually not advised to have black soul gems, like a lot of them. You don't really see it gameplay wise, but
yeah, if you're wielding empty black soul gems,
technically your own soul is being seeped into there.
Yeah, basically.
Whenever you touch it,
like slivers of your soul are getting pulled into the Soul Cairn.
Mm-hmm. No, into the soul gem, basically.
Into the soul gem, yeah. Like Soul Cairn is.
Yeah, that's the next part.
That's the next part.
Yeah.
Also, this is not explained anywhere, as far as I'm concerned. But what is the soul gem actually made out of?
Let me see if I can quickly see it, because they are very vague about that. I think it's actually just a type of crystal that is found within Tamriel.
Yeah. If you ever played Skyrim, you may spot it that if you ever went to Dwarven ruins, you very possibly, absolutely 100%, you may have ended up in something called the Black Reach.
Yes, Black Reach.
Which is not fun to end up in. But it is the huge dark cavern under Skyrim with the with the big glowing mushrooms and ancient dwarven city inside it, inhabited by Falmer.
Yeah, currently
Falmer being those white blind creatures,
formerly known as snow elves.
Yeah.
That's actually a good video for the next time, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, we can talk about the Dwemer next time.
The Dwemer and the Falmer, yeah.
Yeah, they have a very interesting history.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, so in this Black Reach, there are veins of ore for you to mine, and not only there is the classic of ebony or iron. You can also stumble upon blue and white glowing veins, and from these veins you can mine soul gems of various rarities, but not the black soul gem.
No. Which is the next point I want to make, because, okay, originally speaking, the black soul gems are only available in the various Daedric planes, and so you'd have to go through several planes to actually get a few of these souls, which is something that Marco used to do. But in the quest that you are doing right now, it is revealed that the Order of the Black Worm, the current cult of Marco, that they found a new way. They found a significantly easier way to do it via the Ritual of the Revenant, as it's called. Now, the details of that I will explain once they show up on screen for Tom's playthrough, which is gonna take a bit. Let's see, we're 50 minutes in, so it's gonna take another 50 minutes before we get there.
Yeah. So wait, but I'm actually.
Yeah.
Am I in the Aelid ruins or am I in the?
No, you're still in the cave behind the altar.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. But I read the instructions already. Oh, whatever.
Yeah, we'll get to
So,
that. We'll get to that.
um,
So
com-
yeah, sorry,
yeah.
go ahead.
Compared to other games, like if you well, when I say other games, I obviously mean Skyrim. That's the
The
main
other game,
one
yeah.
we all played. In Skyrim, it is fairly easy to get your hands on a black soul gem. They are everywhere.
And I
And
think what they're trying to imply is that this ritual, this ritual of the Revenant, has become more widespread to the point that necromancers everywhere are doing it.
yes, exactly. Because in Oblivion, I don't think you can stumble upon
Nope.
black soul gems
Nope,
anywhere.
only in like necromancy
Yeah,
possession
only in
basically.
the necromancy related quest lines
Yes.
or quests. The point being that they are not natural,
Oh no.
and apart from necromancers, nobody uses them.
Yes. It's actually kind of
Which
funny because, like I just said, you can only find them in the Daedric plains, and there is a nice story about that. About
oh,
someone from the
hell
Daedric
yeah.
plane, right? A tragedy
Well,
in black, was it?
Tragedy in Black.
Yes.
Uh, I don't know. Do you want me to read it?
You,
Or
you could read it out loud if you want. I'm not sure if it's too
yeah,
long or not. I thought it wasn't too long.
no, it's fairly short,
Okay.
but it's fun.
Yeah, it's a fun
So
story. A bedtime story.
a bedtime story for your son that is interested in magic, a bit too much.
A bit too much.
So the Dremora looked on the young boy with disdain. He looked to be no more than 17 or 18, on the cusp of manhood. You have summoned me. Mother says I'm good with spells. Someday I'm gonna be a wizard, maybe even archmage. And what would your mother know of magic, boy? She's a wizard. She's an enchanter at the Arcane University. Oh, another dabbler in the mystic arts. I'm certain she is barely mediocre. You shut up. I read the scroll. I get to tell you what to do. The Dremora was silent. Compulsion bound his voice. I want to know how to make a magic dress for her. I need it for her birthday. The Dremora answered with more silence. You have to tell me. It's the rules. Freed from previous compulsion, the Dremora answered. First, you need a soul gem. I happen to have one, and I will gladly give it to you for the noble cause. Really? Why would you do it? With a hidden smile, the Dremora handed over a dull black gem. It is enough to cast a spell upon an inert object. Magic requires thought, intent, will, and emotion. The soul powers the enchantment. The bigger the soul, the more powerful the enchantment. So how big is the one in the soul gem? Oh, that one is empty. You'll have to fill it. But it can hold the largest souls easily. Do you know how to do that? No, the young man said silently. Let me show you. You cast a spell like this. Black tendrils of a soul trap spell spilled from the Dremora's fingers and surrounded the boy. The young man's eyes went wide. I didn't feel anything, he complained. How about now? The Dremora asked, plunging his talons into the youth's ribcage. His heart beat just as the youth died.
Okay.
His soul, but was trapped by the spell and drawn into the gem. Only black soul gems can hold the souls of mer and elves. Of men and elves. Your mother obviously never told you to accept a freely given gift from a summoned Daedra. You see, it breaks the conjuration, freeing the summoned from the summoner. Now, let's go find your mother. After all, I have another black soul gem.
Oh, beautifully gruesome.
Yeah. Safe to say, conjuration is not as easy as we thought.
No. We make it look easy in the game, but really, there's a lot of things you need to be careful for.
So, as implied in the story, if a summoned Daedra offers you something, and you willingly take it, it breaks the conjuration. It breaks
your hold over the Dremora.
Yeah.
He becomes free. Still there, but he's free, so he can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, because when you conjure something, you basically snatch it from the Oblivion and put it into your realm on Mundus.
Yes.
And suddenly the Dremora is bound to you. It has to basically follow your commands.
Yes.
I don't actually know what's preventing the Dremora from simply ignoring you.
I think it's like it's implied in the story, like they're through the magic they are forced to follow your commands.
Oh, they're just forced.
Yes, they have no control. If you tell it to do something, it does something.
Oh, that sucks. So,
Yeah.
like considering they're actual sentient beings.
Yeah, and no wonder they're always so angry, you know?
Yeah, like there's Daedra and there's Daedra. You have Daedra like Skims or Clanfarron, which are
lesser. They're lesser Daedra.
yeah, they're lesser Daedra. They are basically beasts in nature and mind.
I will actually come back to that later during my discussion about the universe.
Oh yeah, and I just want to finish the fourth train, and then you have greater Daedra, which are compared in mind, in the mind aspect to a human, if not more. Like you have the golden saints, dark seducers, the Dremora, which are fairly human in nature.
They are as intelligent, if not more intelligent at times.
Yeah, I would say more intelligent.
Sometimes, yeah. But yeah. Yeah, okay, so going back to the soul gems. So,
yes.
As long as the soul is trapped in the soul gem, basically it is trapped in that gem, like it implied, like it is not going anywhere. But the moment you use it for something, be it an enchantment, or you use it to refill your enchantments, or whatever, if you're using it as the battery, then basically all that's left is basically the energy, and the soul itself, where does it go? Well, it doesn't go to Sovngarde, I can tell you that much. It goes to the Soul Cairn. That's right.
Which is worse than hell.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So, let me get my notes out for that.
Before he gets his notes out, we all know about all the different Oblivion realms. As we said previously, when you die, you go to the Daedra or Aedra that you worship.
I think we can leave that section for like my explanation of the universe, because I do explain that there.
But
okay, yeah, go ahead.
To say, no Oblivion realm is fun to be in. Some of them have more like enjoyable aspects about them, but not every realm is like a heaven, as you would describe it. Apart from Sovngarde, I think, which is the only good place. I don't actually know where Imperials or like.
I think the Imperials actually specifically call whatever they go to heaven. They actually use the word heaven, but
really,
yeah, but that might just be the old games that called it.
Yeah, that's probably because if somebody were to go to heaven, I would think that Bretons go. happen.
I don't
Since
know.
Bretons are the European style ones.
True, but at the same time, they are like in lore-wise, they're half human, half elf, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think all the elves believe they go to Auriel.
Well, I mean, they call them differently, but yeah.
Yeah.
So the Soul Cairn. Sorry, yeah. The Soul Cairn
Yeah.
is a realm of oblivion, filled with the trapped souls of the mortal dead. Yes. And I will go there in a bit, so you can actually see how it looks. But basically, everything that's soul trapped, like every mortal soul that's soul trapped, gets sent there after being used. And some of the more powerful beings, they maintain their form there, but it's constant torment for them. Due to like the ideal masters. The ideal masters are basically the rulers.
Not ideal
of the,
masters.
Yes, well, they're called the ideal masters, but they're not ideal masters in a way. They basically, okay. So the ideal masters were once mortals that became immortal, and they gained so much power that they were able to actually capture a realm for themselves.
Yep.
Yes. And they kind of like, they felt like their physical forms became, not suited for them. And that's why they got a new form, which is now somewhat confirmed to be the giant floating crystals in the Soul Cairn. Now, before, we weren't actually sure what they looked like. Like, there were some theories that it was the towers that you see there, or other things that you can't really see there. But in Battlespire, the game Battlespire, you find the ideal masters as well. And that in that game,
they look exactly like a crystal. They
Yeah.
they don't look like the Skyrim version, of course.
they're like
They
smaller
look
red crystals. Yes.
Yeah, they look like D8 dice, like a small diamond shape.
Yeah. Yeah.
And actually, in the Elder Scrolls Online, you retrieve shards of
Yes. An ideal master.
of a dead, presumably dead,
Presumably, yeah.
ideal master, and therefore it is confirmed that they are the crystals that you
Yes.
see in Soul Cairn when you play Skyrim Dawnguard.
Yeah, exactly.
And as you said, the ideal masters were their origins were mysterious in a mystery in Skyrim and the previous games, but in Oblivion it got sorted out. They originally really
Skyrim, yeah.
were mortals, and they were powerful sorcerers and necromancers. They basically dabbled in trafficking with souls, and they became very powerful.
Yes.
And eventually their physical forms were like, oh, this is not enough for the level of magic we are trying to do. And they
kind of
I don't want to say they achieved nirvana. That's a bad allegory. Like
yeah, basically they felt like they just their body was no good, so they got a new form, and
they transcended.
Yeah, they sort of transcended basically. And the interesting thing is that although they are immortal, technically their immortality only continues as long as they have magicka for it, like the energy for it, and because it is like in Battlespire, the game, they actually end up sort of helping you, but originally they don't want to help you because expending their magicka diminishes their eternity, as they say themselves. So what you see happen in Soul Cairn is that whenever someone, either you or like all the other souls that you see there, when they get near the giant crystals, it starts sapping away at you. It starts taking your health and such, and that is actually why the Soul Cairn is such hell to live. Is that the ideal masters are constantly like absorbing all the energy from the souls that are there for eternity, because presumably they take a lot of the energy and then they leave you alone, and like you slowly recover, and then they come back and just start absorbing again. So yeah, a real hell.
Eternal torment.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's the ideal masters for you. And I mentioned before the Battlespire, and there's an interesting thing about the Battlespire. So just a heads up, I did not play that game, and I don't think you did either, right?
Fuck no.
Yeah, it's a bit too old. We might get into it at some point, but for now, it's. So during the Battlespire, okay, let me start with the Battlespire is a magical war academy located in a slipstream realm deep in Aetherius, and these sort of realms, they help the mind of like people that go there to adjust to the chaos of other Oblivion realms. So the Battlespire is not just a place where they like learned a lot about more magic, but it also contained teleportals and void gates, which gave access to other realms of Oblivion.
And as a pit stop or a hub.
It's more of a hub than anything else.
Yeah, a hub like for people traveling to the different realms of Oblivion.
And it was connected to Tamriel via the Via Gate. Via Gate. How do you say that? Yeah, it looks like a German word rather than an English word. It's W-E-I-R. So Via or Via, yeah, who knows? And another realm it was connected to was the Soul Cairn. Now, during the events of the game Battlespire, Maroon's Dagon, I mean, who else, captured the Spire, and it started to invade other realms. One of the realms it invaded was the Soul Cairn. So you actually get to see the Soul Cairn in that game, way before the Dawnguard expansion of Skyrim. It looks a bit different.
How old is Battlespire? It's like
1997 from the top of my head.
Jesus.
So yeah, it's a bit old.
Oh, that's 23 years. Yeah. So obviously,
don't remind
then
me.
Soul Cairn looked a lot differently than
they had more of a graveyard look.
Yeah, I mean it's still technically a graveyard in Skyrim.
Yeah.
But
less
with
more
shit ton of
creepy.
with shit ton of shaders and gravity-defying architecture.
Yeah, it's a bit more advanced instead of just tombstones in the dark. Okay, so so after like Maroon's Dagon has taken over the tower, and you, the player, are the apprentice and is trying to, of course, get rid of Maroon's Dagon. So at first, the Ideal Masters don't want to help the apprentice, but after seeing how Dagon's Daedras would continue to regularly pass through their realm, Soul Cairn, if not stopped, one of the Ideal Masters decided, alright, I'll help the apprentice. And then, well, not important those deals, but basically they helped apprentice get rid of them. Now you might ask, why do the Ideal Masters want the Daedra not passing through the Soul Cairn? Well, for one, they're not one of the captured souls, so they don't have any control over them. But the other part, of course, is that the Daedra are not simple souls. Like
they don't have souls at all. They actually have something called the vestige.
Yes, exactly.
Or the essence. And apart from humans and elves and the beast folk, when a Daedra dies, their essence travels. They actually don't die.
No.
You only destroy their physical body, and their vestige, their essence, goes back into the Oblivion, where it travels into something called and this
Okay,
this
yeah.
is
Alright,
yeah.
so as you're thinking about that, I can actually talk
Yeah.
about what you're doing right now in Oblivion, is you're trying to do the ritual of the Revenant. Now, the basic steps of the ritual are nothing more than put a ground soul gem into the altar, cast, like you can see it here, cast your soul trap magic, and then the gems will be turned into instruments, or aka black soul gems. The detail you forgot to look at was that it needs to be on the day of the Revenant, which is specific days of the year. Now, in game
Fucking
terms,
kidding me.
yes, in game terms, that means it works on the first day of the game, and then 8 days later, and then 8 days after that, and 8 days. Basically, it keeps on counting like 8 days. So, and it only works at midnight, actually. So that's the reason why you're currently not succeeding with this ritual. It's because it's the wrong day.
I wanted to know that.
Yeah, I'm not sure if
It's not in any book.
I'm not sure. I think it is either in a book or notes or something like that, but it's not clear. That's definitely true.
That's but back to the thing I was saying.
Yes,
I looked it up. So when a Daedra dies, their essence, their vestige, travels back to their corresponding plane of Oblivion, and there it enters something called the Chaotic Croatia.
Yeah.
The Chaotic Croatia, you can think of it as something like the primordial soup.
Yeah, basically.
Like in unlimited stem cells. And this energetic unformed mass basically creates around the vestige, and the Daedra creates a new body after some time, and basically they live on.
Yeah.
So when you kill a Daedra, you don't kill it, you only banish it back into Oblivion.
Yes.
And Chaotic Croatia has different forms, of course. It's
based on
it's not,
whether it's a lesser, greater, that sort of like.
yeah, and where it is placed. If, for example, if you played Elder Scrolls Online, there it's something called the Azure Plasm on Cold Harbor. When you visit Cold Harbor, the realm of Molak Baal. And Azure Plasm there, it's just a blue slime. But for example, if you played Oblivion, in Shiogorath's realm, the Shivering Isles, the two dominating the lesser Daedra, the
they're like the drummer. They're already greater
the Golden Saints and the Dark Seducers. They have their own towns, and in there they have well springs. And in those well springs, a brightly colored water, either golden or bright green. And from these waters, that is their Chaotic Croatia. When you kill them, even if you kill a Daedra in Oblivion, they still only lose their physical body, and their essence lives on.
There's only one theoretical place where they would be completely destroyed, and that is if they are killed when they are in Aetherius. That is never tested, of course, because Daedra tend to not want to go there, probably because of that reason. But it is theorized that they die there.
Aetherius is basically.
Well, no. Let me get there.
Yeah, but on the offside, Aetherius is a realm of Magnus, right?
Yes, among others.
Yeah.
Yes. So, in a previous episode, we tried to explain the difference between Daedra and Aedra, and we didn't fully know it. But now I have researched it. It's actually really simple. Aedra means is old. What was it again? Where did I write it? Yes. It's a word of Old Mary origin, and Aedra means ancestors. Daedra means not ancestors, not our ancestors. And what they mean by that is that the Aedra are the divine beings that helped create Mundus, the realm that we live in, and the Daedra are the ones that didn't do that. So that's technically the only difference between them. If you
And also the difference could be that the Aedra are the are the stupid agents who got themselves tricked, and the Daedra are the ones who said, "Nah, fuck that, man."
nah, I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to get all the way to the beginning, the universe of Elder Scrolls, it began with Anu and Padome. And
Before that,
yes, I will. Yeah.
yeah, no, like that's like the third step. That there are steps before that.
Well, yeah, but like, okay. What I'm trying to get to is like there's details. I'm not gonna go into the specifics of Anu and Padome, because
Okay.
basically, they are like the first two big things, the primal forces,
Yes.
and through their, as it's called, interplay. Not sure what that means, but basically through their interplay, the Et Ada were created. The Et Ada are the original spirits, a race of like divine beings. Where was I? Yes. So the Aedra are the ones that helped. They're basically the gods that helped create Mundus. The Daedric princess and the other Daedra refused to help create Mundus, and instead created their own planes of oblivion to live in. Now, let's go to Mundus, because it's actually very interesting. You see, the universe is created up of numerous realms of existence, and it's actually it might be easier for me to show you a bit, like give you like a nice idea of what it looks like. Hold on, if I can get it to
While
work.
he gets up the map of the universe, you can see me trying to save a scripted death in Oblivion. There is an NPC, the last surviving battle mage, and he is scripted to die from a trap. And but I saved him by paralyzing him. And now his AI doesn't
going
know
wild.
what to do. Yeah, he's going apeshit. So
Okay, yes.
back to your
Mundus.
Neil deGrasse Tyson impression.
I forget it now. I don't know his voice. Sorry. So what we begin with is a nice circle. This circle is basically the realm of Mundus. You see, like I said, the universe is made up of realms of existence. Mundus is one of those realms. This realm was created by the Aedra. That's what got them their names. And it is consistent of Nirn, the planet that the Elder Scrolls takes place on, and considered to be like the center of it all. And then some of the Aedra used up all of their energy to help create Mundus, to the point that they became all the planets that surround Nirn. And these planets are therefore given the name the Divine Eight. Also, so basically the gods that everyone worships are just the planets, basically. And they still have their power. That's how they are able to influence the world, sort of, with their miracles and whatnot. But they're significantly less powerful than, you know, the Daedra, who constantly interact with everyone. Right?
Basically, the universe of the Elder Scrolls, the actual universe, is called Aurbis.
Oh yeah, if you go all the way out, yeah.
Yeah, and that universe was created, as you said, by Anu and Padme.
Yes.
And in this, they gave life to the what were they called?
the Et Ada.
Etada,
Yes.
which were the all the ancient spirits, all the ancient divines
Yes.
that Aedra and Daedra together with some minor ones.
Yes.
And Mundus is the collaboration of the Aedra.
Yes.
Because compared to other realms of that, each of the Daedras or the Daedric princes made themselves, Mundus is much greater and I want to say powerful.
Yeah, it's basically it's the best design. It's like
it's the best design, exactly.
Yeah, basically.
And all the Daedra are jealous of
Oh, yeah.
Mundus. They want to conquer it. They want to take it for themselves.
Yes, exactly.
And Mundus is the collaboration of the gods Akatosh,
Yes.
Arkai, Bardau. Bardau is may not be known to you. Bardau is actually a meteor. You can see it's an Aedra that is visible by the naked eye. If you played Morrowind, it is the meteor that is quote unquote about to struck into the Vivek city.
Ah, yes, in the tribunal add-on. Yeah.
And it's being held up by
Vivek.
Magic.
Yeah, it's by Vivek's magic.
Akatosh, Arkai, Bardau, Dibella, Julianos, Kinarev, Mara, Maser. Maser is
one of the moons.
Yes, Maser and Secunda.
Yeah, the two moons.
Nature realm, which I honestly have no idea what that is. The Necromancer's moon, which is actually a moon that Nirn has.
But
it's a third moon.
It just doesn't show up that much.
Yeah. It's I want to say a secret. Of course, from the V8, of course, there are Stendarr and Zenitar, and then something called the Spilled Sands, which is a realm of it's Akatosh's realm, since Akatosh is I would say Akatosh is supposed to be the apex god, apex Aedra.
Yeah, he's top. He's the top god.
He's the top.
Top of the divines, anyway.
Top of the So
one of the
main
planets.
architect when it came to Mundus was an Aedra called Magnus.
Magnus, yes.
Magnus, he is actually called the Great Architect. And it was his idea. It was his plan that the Aedras followed to construct Mundus. And he tricked them into creating it because unbeknownst to the Aedra, they had to give a fragment. When I say fragment, I mean like solid 60% of their power to create Mundus.
So yeah, that's a very expensive price to pay.
That's a big price, and this basically, this angered the Aedra. They were furious at Magnus for betraying them, for tricking them. So then what's the event called? We talked about it in the last week's podcast. It's
I'm not sure.
Adamantite Tower.
Oh yeah. Oh god, yeah, that's one of those difficult names, doesn't it?
Yes, it's one of those difficult names.
Yeah, that event.
That event, basically, they sacrificed Magnus for betraying them, and he fled.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's that, but also like there's another part of the story where, I mean, it might be just different interpretations, but there's others who say he became disgusted with what Mundus had become, and that's why he left. So it could be that he's both fleeing or that he just left.
All the Aedra or the Edada that fled together are called the Magnagi.
Yes. Some
And-
of his friends help flee as well.
Yes. And Magnus is the main main at Ada called the Magnagi.
Yes.
And as they fled, they made holes into the sky.
Yes.
And these holes are the stars and the moon in the Elder Scrolls universe. Magnus
The
being
sun,
the
you
biggest,
mean? The moon, the
su-
stars
the
and the
sun.
moon.
The stars and the moon, not the sun.
No. The moon is Secunda and no, it's the sun. That's I
Sun
think.
is Magnus.
Yeah, Magnus is the sun. Yeah.
Is it? Well, hold the fuck. Yeah. Sun. Magnus is the sun,
Yes.
and the stars are
Yeah. The
all the other
Magna.
Magnagi.
Yeah. Yes.
And-
And yeah.
Beyond there, beyond those holes in the sky, is formed something called the Aetherius.
Yes, which I am currently nicely drawing,
Prepared
sort of.
to talk
Pretending to. Yeah, okay. So like I'm giving a visual stimulation to like give you some idea, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, basically.
It looks like a sun.
Yeah, yeah, I know. That's just a nice side note. But if you let's see, whatever. Basically, the route that Magnus took was basically he just went like that to his realm. Let's see, give you a nice text. So this is Mundus. Yeah, you can still see it. Mundus. This is Oblivion, and this is Aetherius. But
When I was talking about how they made holes in the sky is actually Oblivion.
yeah, no, it's like this. Okay, so you have the realm of Mundus here, which is basically the space most of what you see, but like it's sort of like walled off. It's like you can't see what's beyond that, except when you have like the big holes that are left behind. So wrong one. So you have here, and like I'm just drawing a few, but like all these lines that I'm drawing, that's all the stars basically that you see. It's like a direct line, and that light that you see is actually Aetherius. So the realm of Oblivion, and technically, okay, so like in Oblivion, it's basically technically it's the void, really. The void is also the space between the planets, and it's all the void basically. And then outside you have
Void
Aetherius.
After Aetherius isn't Void after Aetherius?
No, okay, so technically, okay, so the void is outside of Aetherius and in between. It's basically the emptiness. Look at the word void. It's basically the emptiness.
I know, but Void is supposed to be Padamized, like the Padamized Void. It's not like the scientific our Void.
No,
It's
that's
not...
true. But like, yeah. No, I get what you mean. But I'm just reading what I read.
the
Okay.
physics Void.
Yeah. So in this realm of Oblivion, if you want to, technically it's the void here. You have these smaller realms. Like you have like the big realm that's Mundus, and then smaller realms, and that's where all the
Oblivion realms. Are.
Oblivion realms. Yeah, this is where the Daedric princes are chilling. And this is also where the Soul Cairn is like located. And
When we say Oblivion realms and the Daedric princes are chilling, we actually mean that when we say realm, we mean planets basically. You can think of Daedric princes and their realms as one thing.
it's basically a planet. Yeah.
They could be thought of as living planets. If you guys saw Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah.
volume 2, Ego, the living planet.
Yeah.
That's basically that is basically
True.
Daedrus.
In fact, that's also like so. We previously discussed the 8 divines that gave up most of their power, and they became solid like planets, right? the Daedric princes also sort of had to do that, except they didn't give up any power. That's why they not only have their realm, but also have a physical form. So yeah, no, what you said is true.
The physical realm, the physical form, actually ties to how you are able to contact, communicate, and sometimes even defeat Daedric princes in the video games.
Yeah.
You never get to talk to an Aedra
Nope.
throughout the entirety of the Elder Scrolls series. You only talk to Daedras.
Mm-hmm. The only thing close to an Aedra that you talk to is perennial Whitesnake.
Pelinal.
Yeah, and he is technically it's a whole different discussion of what he is.
Pelinal is like lore-wise, like what is stated, he is the same thing as the Tribunal guys.
Yeah, he's considered a descendant of the Ed Ada, but also he's technically a different kind of divine spirit called an Ada.
Yep. He and Morihaus, his winged Minotaur, half god Kratos guy, sidekick uncle nephew. It's complicated. They are divine in nature, but they are not gods.
Yeah, it depends on how you define gods, but yeah.
I mean, when I say gods, I mean the 8 or the 9.
Yeah. Oh god, why and this is also why the elves in Skyrim have such an issue with calling Talos the 9th divine, because as we previously discussed, the 8 divines are the ones that created Mundus. The Aedra, basically, they sacrificed themselves to create Mundus. And Talos, while he was a great man, he was not part of that project, was he?
But you could argue that he sacrificed himself
for the events on Tamriel,
to conserve Mundus.
Yes, that's true. He did many great things.
And he changed Mundus on a physical level. Like there is a piece of lore that implies that the entirety of the Cyrodiil region was a jungle.
Mm-hmm.
And after Talos did something, then Cyrodiil is no longer jungle.
No,
and it looks like it never was jungle.
Yeah, he had such a huge effect.
Yeah, Talos had such a huge effect. He effectively changed the past.
Yeah, he might have done something with an Elder Scroll or a Dragon Break. Who knows?
Yeah.
Oh, he definitely did something with a Dragon Break. But,
I mean, yeah, Dragon Breaks. It also could have been him doing something with Numidian.
Also, as you can see, I've just arrived in the Soul Cairn.
And it is, in fact, looking like a purple grave.
Yeah,
grave.
True. Graveyard.
Graveyard. That's the word.
And then we'll see the altar that we saw half an hour ago.
Yeah.
You can
also,
see it here. Yeah.
In Soul Cairn, there is a very special NPC you can meet named Durnevir.
Oh, Durnevir, yeah, okay. That one. Yeah, there's technically another one, but it's less special, I guess.
Yeah, Durnevir. Durnevir, as some of you may know, is a fucking dragon.
Uh-huh.
And Durnevir, when he was still alive, didn't really like his brethren. He wanted to be more powerful than them. He desired power above all.
That is what dragons do.
Yes. So he made a deal with the Ideal Masters.
Mm.
He basically
gained
he swore his allegiance to them for a gift of necromancy.
Yeah, well,
Dornavir
I think
gained the power to resurrect the dead. He made entire armies of undead.
yes. I think the price specifically was he just needed to complete one task. That was the price.
Yeah, and the task was to guard a very special individual in the Soul Cairn until his demise.
Till their demise, really.
Uh, but the thing
Ah.
is that individual is a vampire,
Yeah, so they don't die.
so he doesn't die. And until the Dragonborn rescues him,
Which I'm gonna do in a bit.
Yeah, well, rescues is a strong word. He defeats him, and this frees Dornavir from the curse.
As you can see, by the way, this is the altar. This is the exact same
Wait,
altar.
that's it?
That's the altar, yeah.
But you don't have to cast anything. You just place
No,
it in.
because this is not in Mundus. We are now in the realm of the soul of the ideal
But
masters.
why does a lightning strike it? What?
Oh, that's just the ideal masters. Like, oh, you want to change your soul gem? Okay, here you go. So,
the ideal masters are something that I was on a personal level. I was kind of bummed out about them just being sorcerers, since necromancy is something that is never explained in the Elder Scrolls games.
Not fully. It's never fully explained.
Not fully, exactly.
As it's with a lot of things, really.
Like every fact, when I say it like this, yeah, every fucked up shit in the Elder Scrolls universe usually has a Daedra behind it.
Mm-hmm.
But necromancy doesn't.
Yeah. So it feels like they were something special.
That is extremely strange, because all the other things like murder, assassination, lust, madness, all these things, all these like very basic things, have Daedras behind them. But something like which is fairly complicated, like necromancy, which is another bad thing, it doesn't have anyone behind it. It's just a different form of magic. Even though it has way more mechanics and way more intrigue than any other school of magic.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Conjuration, but that's debatable.
Yeah, well, Conjuration is related to Necromancy in a way.
But it's still related. All the Necromancy spells are still Conjuration. So
yeah, they're considered that, yeah, definitely.
considered Conjuration, yes. Since magical schools are
also a sort
made
of
up thing.
they're an artificial thing. They're created by the mortals of Mundus.
Yeah.
So
spells have nothing in common.
Yes.
Each spell is different and functions differently, but mortals basically bundle them together to make some sense of it.
Yeah. So you could say it's like, you could almost say it's like how languages work, really, because if you think back to before the time that everyone could just translate things casually, we were kind of stuck with like, I have this thing, I call it this, and then you call it that, and so obviously we mean the same thing. But if you get into more complicated things, like things that aren't direct objects, then it's more of a oh yeah, for that situation we use this word to explain it. And
and
we kind of like
it's similar, it's probably the same.
Yeah, it's like we give it this word, but that doesn't necessarily mean it is the same thing. We just like to simplify, like, oh, it's probably that, and that's the same with. I mean, you could even say that like the school of magics that we separate everything in. You could say it like that's the same thing we do with physics in the real world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where like we just say that it works like that until proven otherwise.
Yeah. There are of course easier spells to categorize. For example, the destruction spells. Like as soon as something's come out of your hands and it explodes and kills stuff, it's probably destruction.
Yeah, but you're basically giving a nice description of what it is that it's doing.
Yeah, but when it comes to more difficult to categorize things, like when you give yourself night vision.
Yeah, that's been through several schools of magic.
Yeah, or you cast something like stone flesh or yourself
Yeah.
to basically make your skin hard and resistant to damage. Like, how would you categorize it? Is the restoration? Is it
Alteration.
yeah,
And
alteration, mysticism?
and that's also why you see through different games you suddenly have different schools of magic that you have access to. You could blame it on like just game designers changing their views on it, but actually in lore it makes sense as well. Like at some point they consider, oh, this is this kind of spell, and then later they change their minds. You know.
Yeah, and the most notably, of course, in Oblivion and Skyrim. In Skyrim, you probably know the Alteration school, which has the schools from previous games bundled together. Those schools are Mysticism and Thaumaturgy?
Yeah,
Thaumaturgy, yes.
and yeah, like a few spells of illusion have also transferred over to
yeah.
alteration. Yeah, but you could also say like, you know, it really depends on your interpretation of it. Like for instance, the light spell.
Mhm.
You know, you could say it's an illusion, but you could just as well say it's an alteration.
I just wanted to ask, like, if candlelight and stuff like that was. I know it's in alteration or in illusion, but I don't know, and that's the thing.
Yeah.
The spell doesn't have this school written on it when you're a magic user.
Oh no,
but
it's just an interpretation.
It's just categorized.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
And that's something you technically, well, I mean, some games have like very specific rules in terms of how their magic is divided, and a lot of other games have this idea of just like, it depends on your interpretation.
Yeah. Also, another thing with the magic in the Elder Scrolls universe is that we talked about this previously, but in games, of course, it is fairly limited.
Mm-hmm.
There are pre-made spells, or you can make spells, but it's not, when you make spells, it's not drastic. You're just changing variables, like the damage, the size, and the cost, and maybe the duration.
Yeah, basic.
But
Whereas
in the lore, you are basically not really free to do what you want, but
it's a lot broader the way you can use it. Like an easy example would actually be the Tragedy in Black thing we discussed, where technically speaking, everything you summon has to follow every command you give. Now in game, you can't tell it to do anything. You could
it doesn't
maybe
function
tell
like
it to move. Actually, no, like
no, nothing. You just
nothing. It just follows it. It follows you.
It's just set to aggressive, and it's set to not attack this guy.
Yeah, it's basically follow the player and then attack everything that's aggressive to the player. Done.
Yep. On one hand, it would be kind of broken, or at least very hard to manage if you were to made it more complicated. Also, is there a lore reason why you can only summon one Daedra at a time?
I think it has to. Like, I don't remember correctly, but I think it has to do with how when you summon something, the way the magic works basically would make it impossible for you to get a second person involved. But there is, of course, an exception. Let me see. Lore Conjuration.
Of course, when you hit master level.
Like when you master level, you get 2 summons. Woo!
Yeah, you get the Twin Souls perk in Skyrim or the master level Conjuration in Oblivion, and you get to summon 2 Skelly boys. But I don't know if it's like in Dungeons and Dragons where the spell requires concentration. Basically, it requires you to focus on it, and since multitasking is bullshit, you you don't get to focus on 2 things at the same time.
Yeah, no. In case you
walk properly.
It's probably common sense by now, but in case you didn't know, multitasking is just being able to switch between different tasks very quickly.
Yeah, one is muscle memory and you're focusing on the other one.
Yeah. basically. Or you technically can do 2 different mental tasks, but you just need to be trained to switch between the tasks without forgetting everything.
Yeah, multitasking is not real. You only get to do one thing.
Yeah,
But you can
switch between things.
them. You can switch between them very rapidly.
You can switch between them so rapidly it looks like you're doing 2 things at the same time.
Yep. Or you can do the one thing is muscle memory, the other one is which is how you would drive a car, for example.
Yeah, for instance, or when you are folding the laundry whilst talking with someone else about something complicated.
Stuff like that. Which is why most people are unable to listen to their significant others or parents when they're on their phone.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
So back to the Elder Scrolls universe.
Yes, I can. So we previously stated Mundus is made up of the planets, the moons, and Nirn.
The gods.
Yeah, the planets are the gods, and then Nirn, the planet that we're on. But that's the planet, Nirn. On Nirn, you have different continents. You have Atmora, you have Akaviri, and you have a few more.
Yokuda. And on the south is
let me see. Quickly find that. Come on.
The planet.
Oh yes, Akavir, Atmora, Yokuda, and Piandonea. That's in the south. It's home to the elusive Maomer.
Maomer being the sea elves.
Yes. And then finally, you have Tamriel, where the games take place. And Tamriel is then split up into not different countries, no, provinces.
Yeah, and when we said it's on Mundus, we don't actually mean Mundus because Mundus is like the solar, the solar system,
basically. Well,
yes.
If you want to be really exact, technically speaking, Mundus refers specifically to all the heavenly bodies within that realm. Because between
Nirn, Secunda, and
all the planets as well. All those together, that's technically Mundus. The space between those planets is, or heavenly bodies is the correct term, is the void. Also known as, for us, known as space.
Yeah. And the main planet is Nirn. And that one houses the continents of Tamriel, Akavir, Atmora, Yokuda, and Piantone.
Yes.
Tamriel, as you said, is the main continent. Well, it's the only continent.
It's the continent that we only get to see, basically.
Yeah, it's the player continent, as we would say.
And it's divided into 9 provinces.
Yes, that being Black Marsh, the swamps on the southeast. The home of Argonians and the histories. Then we have Cyrodiil in the very center, which is the place you get to play in Oblivion.
Yes, where you are at, basically.
Yeah, it's the home of Imperials.
Yes.
Then
once a jungle, and now not so much.
Yeah, it was jungle, now it's plains. It's the default Minecraft biome.
Basically.
Then you have Elsewhere. It's Elsewhere. Is it just desert? I don't wanna oversimplify.
It's desert and jungle actually.
It's desert and
jungle.
It
has a few rocky mountains here and there.
Yeah. That is the home of Khajiit.
Yes. You also
Khajiit are the cat people.
Yes.
That do a lot of drugs.
Oh, that's stereotypical. Here's a fun little side note about Elsewhere. You know, obviously the name sounds like you're literally saying Elsewhere, but it's written differently. But the origin of the name actually comes from a Khajiit saying that they introduced to the Imperials. They say they basically say they ask, where is paradise? Paradise is elsewhere. But they're basically doing a play on words because they both say it's elsewhere, and they're basically saying that their own home is paradise.
So, that
yeah,
is
that's where they
elsewhere.
got that. Elsewhere, paradise.
Then we have Hammerfell.
Mm.
Before we talk about Hammerfell, we should probably talk about Yokuda.
Yeah, Yakuda. Oh, sad.
Yokuda was the
The continent
was
west of Tamriel and the original
Yeah.
homeland of the Red Guards. But
And,
it has
it has sunk into the sea
yes.
because reasons.
Yeah, yeah. No, I think it's not specifically clarified as to why yet. But what is interesting to note is that, you know, when you think about a land sunk into the sea, you might think of Atlantis first. But in a way, the story of Yokuda is closer related to the story of Numenor of Tolkien's world. And the reason why is that Numenor was belonged to the Numorians, and when they upset the elven gods of Tamriel, of Tolkien, yeah, their island got sunk, but there's like the people that lived there fled, and like they were also kind of a warrior race, and of powerful kings and whatnot. And the Red Guards are also warriors, and they also fled the sinking of their island. Whereas Atlanteans have never escaped to most stories, I think. But yeah,
Atlanteans in the story just disappeared. It's
yeah,
not
they
even
just sunk with the island, you know.
So Yokuda, the original place of the Red Guards,
Yes.
and the Red Guards after the singing fled to Hammerfell.
Yes, Hammerfell.
Hammerfell is the place that houses Orsinium, right? Or is
Okay,
that
so
Hyrule?
Orsamir is technically it's a bit vague as to where it is. Its location has changed a few times, but basically it's either in Hammerfell or High Rock or both.
Yep. Then we have High Rock. High Rock is neighboring. It's a neighboring province of Hammerfell. They are very similar in size. And High Rock is the homeland of the Bretons.
Bretons, indeed.
Bretons are the half man, half elf people.
Yes. Though we should say that if you take a random Imperial and let them have a kid with a random Altmer, that does not produce a Breton. That's not how it works. It was generations of
It
stuff
was
like that.
generations of interbreeding that led to Bretons as we know them today.
Yes, exactly.
It's not a simple hybrid.
No, it's not simple. It's not that easy.
Then we have Morrowind on Tamriel, which is the northeastern part, dominated by the Red Mountain on the island of Vardenfell.
Yes.
Inside of it. Currently, Morrowind is basically just a pile of ash, but that's
Yeah.
a different story.
We'll get to that another time.
Morrowind is the homeland of the Dunmer, the Dark Elves, who
yes.
originally were called the Chimere, or
Chimere,
Chimere, or Chimere. Nobody knows how to pronounce it correctly.
Maybe Vivek does. Who knows?
Maybe Vivek does, yeah.
Next, we have...
Next is Skyrim.
Of who, like, currently, that's the home of the Nords. But the Nords originally, or like the ancestors of the Nords, originally came from Atmora, further to the north of Tamriel.
No.
And,
which is also probably like 50% true, because some say that they came from Akavir.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Like, they definitely know that the 500 companions and Isgramor came from the
300.
north. Oh, 300, yeah. Wait, is it 300?
Yeah. The Atmorans came from Atmora, but they are not the only ancestors.
Oh, no. You see, when the Atmorans came to Tamriel, the Imperials, or like the ancestors of the Imperials, were already there. So.
And they were called. What were they called?
Good question. Let me check. Imperial. That's not how you write Imperial. That's also not how you write Imperial. Lore. Imperial. There we go.
Need.
Needs?
Nede.
Nede. Ah,
Needs.
Nede. Yeah. Oh, the
Nedes.
needs. Yeah, the needs.
Needs.
And yeah, they were the slaves of the Aelids.
Yeah. Although the origins of the Nidic people are up to debate, it is also like the main theory is that they came from Atmora.
Yeah. Let's see.
So
Yeah.
you could,
It's disputed as to where the first humans came from, because you also have them from Yokudan, you know.
yeah,
Yokudan, sorry.
that's true. Like that.
Where did it
But
come from?
to be honest, Nords are way more similar to Imperials than both of them are similar to Red Guards.
Yeah, the Red Guards are nice and unique.
Yeah.
Next we have
Next, what do we have
Somerset
next?
Isle.
Oh yeah, I hate those.
The hell home of the Altmer. Yeah, you really have a hatred for the Altmer.
Yeah, I'm a Stormcloak guy.
Oh, all these Stormcloaks here. Personally, I disagree with both of them, but you know that's a discussion for another time.
So, Somerset
yeah.
Isles are the, as the name suggests, they're the isles, the islands. They're separate from the mainland of Tamriel.
Yes, but they're still part of Tamriel.
They're still part of it, and they're home of the High Elves, the Altmer.
Yes, and as the name suggests, it feels like it's always summer over there. Nice and sunny.
Hey.
It's very pretty.
Yep, it is. It's a paradise.
Yeah. Too bad about the inhabitants, right?
Yeah.
And then finally,
east or west of elsewhere.
west of Elsewhere.
West of Elsewhere.
And east of Somerset Isles.
Yes. We have Valenwood or Valenwood.
Valenwood, yeah.
Valenwood?
Yeah, in game they call it Valenwood.
Valenwood. Which is home of the Wood Elves.
Yes, the Bosmer.
The Bosmer, yeah. Valenwood is an endless forest.
Yes, it's jungle, forest. I think it's actually different kinds of forests though.
Yeah.
Different kind of vegetation. So you have some change in there.
Of course, we talked about this previously, but the scale of Tamriel is, or the size of Tamriel is up to debate since video games are.
Yeah, they're kind of limited.
Yeah, they're limited. They're only representation of the of Nirn and Tamriel itself.
Yes.
Lore-wise, it's way more scaled up.
Yeah. Actually, like, I can talk about this right now. In the in Skyrim, like the actual distances between locations is not an accurate depiction of what it really is like.
Fuck no! In Skyrim, you can get from a town to town in a matter of half an hour.
Yeah, it's a bit longer. But based on the dialogue in the game, I have actually calculated how big it really is, which I will get to if I can find my fucking documents. There we go. Let's see. That would be here. Yeah, it's one of the projects I was working on before all of this. It's I had to research that, so hang on. It's a big document, so I have to navigation pane.
Is that so?
Geography, distances. Okay, so the one source of verified information you have is Rune. Viper the Fleet. Viper the Fleet talks about how he got his name by he was in Windhelm with Vex, and they were doing their thieving things, and they kind of they screwed up. The guards showed up. So what they did is like Viper just started running. Like he just started like almost like Forrest Gump. He just started running back to Riften, and Vex apparently was smart enough to use her horse, which was outside the gates. So you have Vex going back to Riften, and you have Viper going back to Riften on foot, running. Now, if you look at the average running speed, and even if you assume that he can maintain that for that entire thing, he says that that Vex arrived several hours before Viper arrived. So if you then calculate that, then you basically sort of assume that Viper arrived at least 2 hours later than Vex. And if you calculate that with speed and everything and what is sort of realistic, yada yada yada, you come to the conclusion that the distance between Windhelm and Riften is 60 miles. Wait, no, was it? Oh, no, I need to check. Riften and Windhelm. Well, 64 miles. Now, I think you can calculate most of that at that point yourself, but that leaves basically going from the furthest eastern point to the furthest western point. That's, if I recall correctly, like I don't have those numbers specifically here. But that's about, I think it was 200 kilometers. So that's
Skyrim is
200 kilometers wide. It's about as wide as the Netherlands, for instance.
it's not that big.
It's very small.
Skyrim is fucking tiny.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the width, and that's the biggest part of Skyrim. The width, not the.
So the video games are not that much downscale.
Well, no, I mean, like, okay, realistically, if you want to run from one side of the Netherlands to the other side, you're gonna spend more than a day doing that.
Yeah, like absolutely, but.
But the games are, so like it's bigger than the games, but it's not that big.
Yeah.
I mean, technically speaking, if you wanted to go with a car through Skyrim, you'd be on the other side within an hour. Yeah.
Mm.
Which for some people is no distance at all. Other people it is. Depends
That's
on where
not
you're
to
from.
say that Skyrim is still small. For a medieval
A fantasy.
medieval
Medieval, yeah.
medieval place, it's still very large. Like for example, when you take the 300 companions, it's a small army.
Yeah, but for us definitely. But like in those days, it's big.
It's
Yeah.
like here it's not even like barely an army, but there, 300 of like trained men, and especially they're at Morans, so a man and a half.
Yeah. And
Yeah. So back to the name thing. Well, so Skyrim and Valenwood, the people may have come from Atmora. They may have not. Then there is the most popular other continent, that being Akavir.
Akavir, yes.
Akavir is the land far east. And
it's the east of Tamriel, yes.
Yeah, and it is home to the Kamal, the
Taesi.
yeah, the Kamal, the Tsaeski. I don't know how to. I don't know how to pronounce Taeshi, Tankmo.
Oh, yeah. There's official pronunciation for it. They're actually called Sayesi.
Sayesi.
Sayesi. That's how you're supposed to say.
Yeah, Sayesi. Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay. Yeah.
So
The
Kamal.
Sayesi.
Yeah, Kamal are the ice demons from north of Akavir. It is not known if they are actually ice demons or
they're just very cold-looking things.
Yeah, what is their nature? But it is known that they are hibernating for the majority of the time. But each winter, they come down and they storm the land of the Tangmo. Tangmo are which literally means Thousand Monkey Isles. Is a place inhabited by the monkey people.
Yes. Well,
They are a
it's a combination of a lot of different types, but yeah.
Yeah.
Different types of monkeys.
But they're the monkey folk, and they are another type of the beast people.
Yes.
Like the Argonians, the Khajiit. But that the beast folk or the beast races, that doesn't mean they have something in common. Quite the opposite.
They have still quite a lot of intelligence.
Yeah, that's true. Another race inhabiting Akavir is the Kapotun.
Yes.
Kapotun are cat people or cat folk.
Well, they're tiger-like cat folk.
They tiger-like, but of course, like immediately, they're just Khajiit.
They're not.
No, yes and no.
Yes.
Yes and no, because they are like some Khajiit can have tiger features, but it is never stated if they are actually related to Khajiit.
And it's rumored that they have some kind of connection to dragons, actually.
Yes, because their leader, Toshraka, if I
Toshraka, yeah.
Toshraka, yeah, is a tiger guy who can turn into a fucking dragon the size of a mountain.
Well, that is what they say, anyway.
Yeah, that's what they say. Who are we to say that they are not?
True.
And,
well, no, I'm just saying it sounds a bit unbelievable. That's why.
Yeah, and lastly, Saesi. Saesi are, well, we thought they are the vampire snake people. Because Saesi means snake palace, but in Elder Scrolls Online, it is revealed that Saesi looked like normal people. Like, at least I always imagined them like Naga from the Warcraft series. Like
yeah, exactly.
Snakes. Like
half snake, half, or like Lamias or something like
Lamias, yeah, exactly. Like green, scaly, vaguely humanoid.
Exactly. But apparently they are quite humanoid. It could be that they have some scales, like, on their cheeks or something like that.
Yeah.
But who knows?
But that doesn't mean that they were human in nature.
Yeah.
Saesi were cold, calculated, and cruel. They were actually
still are technically.
They were slavers.
Yeah.
And not in a fun Danimer way.
Oh, they're so fun about it though.
These guys were really cruel and not fun. They, I think, they may fairly possibly be responsible for goblins.
Yeah, there's a story like that. Yeah. It kind of reminds me of the story of how the first orcs were made in Tolkien's world.
In Tolkien's world?
Yes, as Saruman puts it very nicely, the first orcs were actually tortured elves.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait, aren't orcs in Tolkien's world made from mud?
Yeah, that's the later versions.
Later versions, okay.
And that's also Uruk-hai.
Uruk-hai.
We're not discussing Tolkien's world right now.
Okay.
But yeah, no, they could have formed the goblins. That's very true.
And
it's also
the Saesi were actually they invaded Tamriel.
Numerous times.
Multiple times.
Yeah, and they actually technically were in control of the Empire for some time. They formed
the fucking blades.
Yeah, which is
Of all
kind of
things.
funny. Yeah, so it's
They were
funny how they still have an effect.
yeah, like they're the evil guys, but they were actually dragon hunters, and
Yeah.
they formed the dragon god. They formed the blades,
Hmm.
and they are one of the races that, well, one of the. They are the only non-men who ever ruled over Tamriel.
Oh, the entirety. Yeah, yeah.
The
No, I know.
entirety.
Yeah, yeah, basically.
The whole second era, the an Akaviri potentate,
Yes.
potentat, or I don't know how to pronounce that, who was in charge. Uh,
Hmm. Yeah, like afterwards, like there was always one province or two or more that weren't fully under control of the empire. So yeah.
yeah, and that
Um,
is
I think that's
every.
almost like let me. I think that's the end of our podcast. Except let
Oh
me
fuck!
give you one more gem, and that is that the Nerevanar, as in the character you play in Morrowind.
Nerevarin.
Yeah, Nerevarine. Sorry, my bad. Uh, in Oblivion, there are some rumors going around that that character that you played is after becoming a hero. He one of the things he gets is he gets the Corpus curse, basically, or disease technically, which makes him immortal, age wise, and he actually he's apparently started a journey to go to Akavir.
He went on to explore and conquer Akavir.
Well, conquer, I don't know, but he went there, yeah.
Yeah, he went to
And
explore. That's the actual voice line.
oh, okay, yeah. And then in the Oblivion character, technically you encounter him later as well, which is something that you will learn in the Shivering Isles DLC when we get there. So I if the next Elder Scrolls games, which I really hope, if it takes place after, like timeline wise, if it takes place after Skyrim, then I really wanted to also see the Dragonborn again. It's like in the background, just hi, bye.
I think we're gonna see him. Like we never
Oh,
get to
maybe
actually
here's some talk
see the.
about him.
Yeah, we never got to see the player character because if you gave
Well,
the player character a face, it would devalue all the previous all your things. You know,
yes, true. Like the only
you're
exception
only.
of that is the Hero of Kvatch, because he gets a specific look.
Yeah. Which bears the question: If what if you chose an Argonian? Does he get just changed
I
to
think as
Imperial?
the nature of a Daedric prince just forms him into,
Yeah.
yeah. But okay, that is a discussion for another time. We are at the end of the stream. You are bouncing around still,
I'm
trying
trying
to
to
get the
figure
quest
out a
working.
quest that glitched because
Yeah.
Oblivion without the unofficial patch is fucking unplayable, and I have made a mistake by playing it vanilla.
Yep, yep. You should have gotten that one mod, but that is a nice note to end on.
Yay.
All right. We hope that you enjoyed our podcast, and we will see you next week. Um, Not sure what we're going to talk about. Probably, what was it again? There was something we talked about that we're going to mention again. Do you remember?
Dwemer.
Dwemer, yeah, Dwemer and Falmer. That's it. Because
Yeah,
I'll
we
be
can we
going
can
to that
we can
DLC.
talk about we're gonna talk about the Dwemer and the Falmer.
Oh
With
boy.
that, of course comes the Numidian, and with
Oh,
that, we can tie in Talos.
that sounds like a perfect plan. So that's what we're going to do next week. And until then, have a good one.
See you next time. Bye
Bye
bye.
bye.